What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one and only Ash Brown. And this is the ashsaidit show. Yes, over 1,900 episodes. Thanks to all of you guys for all of your love, all of your support since 2014. That is insanity, all right? I never in a million years thought that you guys would still be listening and downloading. So I thank you. So today we have a first, all right? It is my first on the show. Over 1,900 episodes, and I've never had a sexologist on my show. So today, this esteemed woman has been featured in Cosmo, Bustle, Glamour, and so many others. I mean, she is the cat's meow, so to speak. We have Dr. Susan Kaye, PhD. Hey, Dr. Kaye.
Hi, Ash. I just have to say it. I'm really excited to be your first.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I can't understand how I missed this in 1,900 plus episodes, but you're here. You're my first. You're here.
Here we
I'm
are.
Here to stay.
Meant to be.
So, Dr. Kaye, what led you to becoming a relationship expert and a sexologist? Where did that happen?
Yeah. Well, it started in a little town outside of Lancaster County where there's Mennonites and Pennsylvania Dutch, and I wanted to go do yoga. And this was 1970, and my mom's like, what are you going to sell pencils on the street corner? But it was something about body that I needed to figure out. And yoga, for me, was my first introduction to being really in relationship with your body.
Yeah.
And from there, I went to massage school, and now we're talking like 80s, that I was one of the first. There we are, first again, but I was one of the first massage therapists around that people are looking at me sideways. Oh, yeah, we know what you're doing, driving around with your head on your back. Right, but it was the beginning of this whole movement that we now appreciate today of body work. I mean, look at the body workers, and I knew it back in the 80s that this was the future. And now I got my doctorate as a sex therapist because I was working with people who were not happy living in the skin they were in. And, of course, mostly it was men who started to come. But then I got a job in a hair salon and a chiropractor's office, and I got to meet more women and talk about, am I normal if, is what I mostly would hear. Am I normal if I like this or if I don't like this? And so, anyway, I wrote a book about that, as you and I have been talking about. It's called Am I Normal If? And it's really based on the finding of you with you. Because we can't share, like, you with others until you really have a solid you with you. And that's what I've built my practice on. And that's where we bring in the togetherness of, especially my focus is with women, because I think that women struggle the most with understanding their own sensuality, sexuality, their own relationship with themselves, because we have so many shoulds around it. Yeah, so that's how I got started, and we're still doing it. I train people now to do what I do. We have 9 teams around the country. We're in India. Also, I have a therapist there that trained with me. So we're breaking into the international scene, and it's kind of exciting to see what's happened in all these years. I'm going to be 73.
Ooh, look at you. Looking good.
Yeah. So we're still a stand for especially women having say and voice around who I am and who my body belongs to and how it belongs to. And
yes, definitely.
Like that.
Cool. Now, in your book, Am I Normal If? Was the focus mostly towards women or both sexes?
My book is for everybody that struggles with, am I normal? Who I love, how I love, We have folks that walk with all kinds of questions about diversity and who they connect to and how. We have people that are actually mentally challenged, but they want to have relationships. And so we teach them and work with them how to be appropriate and how to be safe. We have everybody. I think we've had somebody that represents every kind of interesting person you can come across in our offices.
Gotcha. All right. So in your day-to-day practice, what are some of the issues that you commonly see in the population?
Well, if we focus on women, it's mostly women having a voice. We sort of have been trained to not speak up, and we're good communicators. Men, not so good. And that's when that's what we teach men is communication is our largest sex organ, is what I teach. Because if especially women can't speak up and say, I don't really like it when you do this, but if you did this, that would work.
Right.
And so it's speaking up and taking a declaration that I am a sexual being. Women, we're supposed to kind of hide out about it a little bit, and men, they got more permission. There's so much that there's magazines. They're standing at the magazine rack, and they take a book home that says on the cover, 10 ways to make every woman go wild. So they think they have the key to every woman's orgasm. And really, then women, if we don't speak up and say, that doesn't work for me, it only lasts maybe through the first year of marriage and maybe the first child. And then they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. But then there's something that we lose as women. Yeah. And as you and I were speaking about earlier is, when we come into menopause and we think, well, I'm all washed up, I'm not worth anything, I'm not sexy anymore, I don't feel sexy anymore. But it's been kind of socialization of this conversation has made us feel that way. Yeah. That now we're throwaways on some level. So, that's really what our work is with women, and we also teach men the same. Speak up, say what you like, what you don't like, and what your desires are, but then be open for negotiation.
Yeah. Now, you in your office, you all are offering a training, a workshop of some kind?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the trainings are various. We have people that come to us with already their disciplines in order. Like we have EMDR people that work for us. We have cuddle therapists that work for us. Hypnotists, you name it. And so they can train in a weekend on how to work inside of this triadic model. I call it the triad model. I have a patent on it. It's that we have the neck up people who I am, like I do the talk work, and we have another neck up people. So if there's therapists that want to take a look at adding this to their practice. So we have the neck up folks and the neck down folks.
Right.
And the neck down folks are the ones who work with the connection we have or don't have with ourselves physically. And that's where it starts. Our relationship with our bodies is, we got to make our bodies our best friends. Because as we age, where I am here now at 73, I'm doing yoga and I'm, having a life that I'm tap dancing. And people never guess my age. And that wasn't the point. The point is to get here and be still having a good time.
Yes, absolutely.
And so those are the people we also train, and we how to work with folks who are coming in and either need neck up work or neck down work.
Gotcha. Now, you said something that sparked an interest in me because I've heard about that therapy. I've seen it kind of promoted through social media and maybe some reality shows. You said cuddle therapy. For people that are not familiar, what is cuddle therapy?
Well, it is just that. It's therapy. And again, it's teaching people that just because we're touching doesn't mean it's going to go somewhere. So we start with completely clothes on for people to allow themselves to just sink in and feel what they're noticing about their bodies being held. And you don't move. We don't stroke your hair or stroke anything. You're just present with yourself. And we have grown men that just cry. Because, us girls, we have each other. We can cuddle and snuggle. We can run around naked together. And that nobody thinks anything of it. Right. But men need us more than we need them. Because they can't do that with each other. Well, they can, and I give those folks permission to do that. Right. But in our culture, it's harder. Men have to tough it up. What are you going to cry now? What's wrong with you? So to give them a place where they can sink in and really allow themselves to just feel without the idea that it's going to go somewhere. Right. Because then they're only focusing on what I call the 10% of their body. There's only focus on you said I could say these words. They're only caring what their dicks are doing.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so then the pressure on them to perform gets them into trouble. So nobody's winning by the models that we have had for, eons. We teach that touch is our most important way to connect, that sends love and affection. I have touched grown men, just touched them on their cheek with no expectation, just being present with them. And they are in tears. So it gives them permission to, let's get, what's your heart say here? What would be nice? What do you like? Let's take a walk and what would work for you. So that's what we do. I feel we awaken something that's been lost in our culture, all cultures, across the globe, that really we're out of touch with each other, and COVID has not helped in getting us it has taught us even more how we need touch and we need each other.
I agree with that. COVID was a crazy time for the world. And I myself, I was in a flight attendant job, and I was stuck in Orlando, where everything was pretty much shut down. It was pretty sad. I was living in what was called a crash pad. So it's like a multiple sharing situation, and it was in a hotel, which is nice. It's a hotel, but you're still you're secluded, and you're just, sitting around with other people, feeling crazy. So it was a very difficult
and you can't touch each other. You can't hold each other.
No, because everybody's
touch became illegal.
Yeah, because now you're kind of afraid, because you're like, oh my gosh, you could have COVID and you could share it to the rest of us. Before we had the education that we have now about COVID, and we're more versed with COVID. It was a very just troubling time for our country and for our world, honestly. Yeah. It definitely was. So I'm glad that we're out of that. But last but certainly not least, Dr. Kaye, what advice would you offer to the next generation of female therapists?
Be certain that inside of your practice you are able to use touch pros. There's the licensing boards now that will not allow folks to be touched inside the therapy room. Even for a therapist to refer a client to a touch pro, it's sketchy. I work around it with the therapist. I don't send them notes. I'll just call them and tell them, we have to play a game. Because the licensing boards won't allow folks to touch. And and this is recent, like the 1990s, that the licensing boards closed the doors because of AIDS. But we feel there needs to be some kind of cooperation here in a way that I didn't get my licensing. I'm a sexologist, PhD sexologist. Mm-hmm. I didn't go for the licensing because I didn't want somebody telling me how to run my practice. And integrative medicine is here now. We understand that. Yeah. We're not looking at it sideways anymore. Integrative therapy is next, and I've been saying it for 40 years. So, and I know it's here. It has to be. We have to look at people as individuals, just like in my normal list. Like each person has their own you with you, and that's my first chapter. Who is you with you, and how do you share you with others?
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Dr. Kaye, thank you so much for coming through today. We appreciate you so much.
Oh, it's been a delight. I am so glad to know you and know you're out there doing such good work.
Thank you so much. And for anyone that needs to get Am I Normal If, where do they need to go?
Amazon Prime.
All right.
And write me a review.
All right, 5 stars across the board.
All right. Well,
thank you
take
so
care.
much. Definitely appreciate you, Dr. Kaye. And you have to come back because I know we got some questions. I know we got some questions for some listeners or from some listeners that definitely want to send some questions in. So we got to set up another call, another episode. So
let's do. I can be your house sexologist.
Ooh. That'd be fun. All right, you guys are getting some therapy sessions. All right, I love it.
Yeah. All right, well, take care.
Thank you.
Everyone in the listening audience. Be well.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you for all of your love and support. Keeping in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do. You look them square in the face, you tell them, don't believe me. Just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. That's what we're doing this for, the history books. Social media is nice, but real life is so much better. Until next time, you guys.